I actually paid money to see this in the cinema. I don't know why I did, because they literally show everything in the trailer, which I was trying to stay away from, because, I mean, it's Black Christmas. Who the hell doesn't love the 1974 classic that is Black Christmas? It's funny as hell. The cinematography is great. It's genuinely creepy as hell. It's iconic, and it's one of the first slashers. It's one of the best slashers. And then there's this. And I heard about it, and I was quite excited for it, because as I just said, Black Christmas, I liked that film. But then the trailer was shoved in my face when I went to see Zombieland Double Tap, and I was horrified. This, not only did they literally give away the plot twist, which is like, plot twist? What? There's no plot twist in the original Black Christmas. There's like a bit of a kind of like whodunit mystery element. There was no plot twist. And that's because this film, Black Christmas 2019, is not Black Christmas. It's literally just called Black Christmas. That's a popular name, and they can get away with it because it's a quote-unquote horror film set at Christmas time. But it's not Black Christmas. There's no Billy in the attic. It's just completely different. There's a fucking cult in this, and there's a supernatural element to it. Like, what? Oh, and also, this film was originally rated R. Great. The first one was a bloody hard R. So yeah, of course this has to be rated R. Then 2 weeks before it comes out. Oh yeah, so we're gonna make it PG-13. This film was written and shot as an R, and then 2 weeks before it came out, they had to make it a PG-13 in the editing room. I mean, that's bad enough, but PG-13 horror films in general, I mean, they're great. I mean, there's not a single bad one. I mean, especially ones that Blumhouse produce. I mean, Truth or Dare, it's a masterpiece. So I was expecting this film to be pretty bad, but like, I'd at least have some fun with it. Yeah, no, this was painstakingly bad. I was so bored. Like, I was shifting around in my seat constantly. I was literally laying down at one point. This is the most I've ever moved in my seat watching anything ever, and like, I swear to God, I nearly fell asleep 3 times. And the first time, I was awoken by a jump scare sound effect. This is an American horror film, so obviously this film is riddled with them, and they are stupid. But other than jump scares, I'd say sound design was actually pretty good. The acting, no one was given anything to work with. Like, there was not an inch of character development from anyone. Oh my God, it was so boring. Honestly, like, it wasn't even funny bad. It was just plain bad. Like, honestly, I've seen 36 films this year. This is at the bottom. This is atrocious. I can't believe I paid money to see this. Yeah, and obviously, because they made it a PG-13 in the editing room, the editing is god-awful. Like, there's points where, like, they do ADR, most probably because they had to cut out, like, where they said the F word or something, and it just doesn't even look real. There was one part where, like, they do ADR of them talking. None of their mouths are moving. And just the editing was so jumpy because they obviously had to keep cutting around, like, F-bombs and, like, I don't know, maybe more blood. Oh, and yeah, also the kills in this film sucked. There was, like, some good fight choreography at the end, but the kills sucked because there were no kills, dude. Like, it was... You don't see anything. So lame. Oh yeah, going back to, like, no character development. Our main character, played by Imogen, Poots, who was, I guess, did well with what she had. Same with Frizzly Hair Woman. At the beginning of the film, she gives us exposition and is like, my parents are dead, you know, to one of her sorority sisters who already knew it. And that never comes up again. Like, there's no importance to the plot whatsoever that she is an orphan. Like, it's just there for some reason. Yeah, and like, even if they didn't put the plot twist in the trailer, it was so predictable. God, I was so bored. This film is like, what, 92 minutes? Oh my God, this felt longer than The Irishman. Jesus, dude. Whatever you do, don't see it. And like, yeah, there were a few Black Christmas references that were pretty lame. That were like really lame. Like, they tried doing the creepy cool, but it's just a static, and then the person's like, oh, sorry, the signal wasn't working. Which is like, one good thing about this film, I will say, there was one sequence where it was really well lit. Is, you know, like, with the Christmas lights, I will give it that. The feminist angle of this is quite pandering. In the original, it's handled so well, and it's so, like, empowering for women, right? Especially in 74. This is just so pandering, and, like, so extreme, and it just doesn't work. And at one point, a male character says, "How come you women just bunch us all men together? Like, we're not all awful." Which I quite like that, because, you know, there are the extreme feminists who aren't even feminists, who, like, just go way overboard and say stuff like that. And I quite liked how the film touched upon that. Like, yeah, this film was atrocious. Jesus Christ, do not see it. Like, I was so bored. I was fully laying down at one point, like, head on the handrest, like legs on the seat next to me. Oh my god, I couldn't. And I'm ill right now, just couldn't. And so I was constantly, like, coughing like I was about to die. And if this was any other film, I would feel bad. But because it was this film, I knew no one liked it. In fact, I was walking out of the screen, right? 50-year-old man with his wife. He's walking out, and he says to his wife, "That was absolute shit." And I just couldn't agree more with him. It was so bad. Like, it was so much worse than I was anticipating. I would say it's just another remake. Hollywood has no ideas anymore. But it's not even a remake. This is a film about a supernatural cult. Like, what? It's just called Black Christmas for brand recognition to trick some people into seeing it, which is disgusting. Ah, God. No spoilers, because honestly, I've forgotten what happens in half the movie already. Oh, and cinematography was really just cookie cutter basic. But there were a few, like, cool shots. Like, there were a few zooms that are very clearly inspired from the original film. You know, it kind of felt like Kubrick, Tarantino zooms, which were quite, you know, I like stuff like that. Other than that, this film was absolute garbage. Do not see it. It is my least favorite film that I've seen that has premiered this year. Do not give anyone this money. It's not even funny bad, so don't even sneak into it. Goodbye.
You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you. You're not surprised.
Sofia Takao, writer and director, most probably just wrote this as some random horror film, and then the studio were like, "Call it Black Christmas. You gotta tie in the Black Christmas somehow. I mean, come on." And so 2 weeks before it came out, they had the final cut, and then fucking Jason Blum was like, "Hey yo,